Yep, it is. And I have the thing to play. So here comes, everyone. Episode 1735 begins in 3, 2, 1.
Time to check my social media, yeah.
To see who loves me online.
Hashtag blessed life.
Oh, this is futile.
No, it isn't.
The morning stream. Sweep the leg.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to TMS. It is TMS for June 25th, 2019. I'm Scott. He's Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? How was your morning?
Good. You know, it's been a very pleasant morning. Went up and did some lift rides as per usual in my life. You know, the per usual.
Yeah, I hear you had a couple of
use that.
Chatty ladies this morning. Is that true?
Vocal Fry. It was actually me taking a couple of the Vocal Fry twins on a tour of Boulder because they chose shared ride.
Yeah.
And through random chance, through the roll of the lift dice, they ended up in the car for two other people's rides. And the whole time, and I don't think they didn't seem to mind. Like, you know, when I dropped somebody off, I'd say, okay, we'll now return you to your regularly scheduled ride. And they're like, it's totally fine. And they're like talking to each other. I'm listening to the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm so hungover. I really shouldn't have made that sandwich last night because I couldn't sleep. It's so bright in my room in the morning.
What? Why? Wait, hold on. Now I'm confused. I didn't know a ride could end up with more people on it mid-ride. Is that a thing?
Yeah. If you choose a shared lift,
yeah,
then a shared ride, it's cheaper, but you run the risk of other people being joined on your ride. Have you not seen the Camille Nanjiani and Dave Bautista trailer for Stuber yet?
I saw the trailer, but I didn't realize it was any more than just those two in there. Unless, well, I guess I don't remember very well. Also, that movie looks like it might be terrible. I'm worried about it.
It looks like it will. It looks like it will be terrible. But the whole premise, or what? Not the whole premise. One of the premises in the trailer is that Dave Bautista doesn't realize he did a shared ride, and they end up picking up a couple women on the way to the official police business. And he chases them out of the car with his menacing look and his really stupid glasses.
Okay, fair enough. He is really cool looking, but
he is.
I fear for the quality of that film. I don't think it's going to be good.
It's definitely worth fear. It's
which is kind of a bummer. What's it called again? Ride? What is it?
Stuber, Stuber, like stupid Uber. I'm guessing is the, or maybe the guy is named Stu. The Camille Nanjiani character is named.
The whole thing feels like an Uber commercial a little bit, right?
It kind of does. Well, no, it feels like
it's a lot of product placement with that.
It's a lot of product placement because it is Uber, featured very prominently throughout the whole thing. But I don't think it paints Uber in the best light. So they might not want it as advertising because it makes Camille Nanjiani look like a really moronic Uber driver.
Yeah.
In the
and I like him. He's a hoot, that dude.
I do too.
I also like Dave Bautista.
Yeah, the interplay between Camille Nanjiani and dude from Freaks and Geeks and Party Down, whose name I'm blanking on, but their interplay on
what's his name?
Silicon Valley is maybe the thing I like. Well, it's certainly the thing I like most about that show, and it might be the only thing I really like about that show.
Oh, wow. That's hard. That's some hard-looking talk right there.
Hard criticism. I think the show's okay, but, man, you get Guilfoyle and Martin Starr. That's right. Yeah, Martin Starr. Martin Starr and Camille Nanjiani in Silicon Valley. Their interplay is fantastic.
Yeah, freaking Bill from Freaks and Geeks. He's the best.
That's right. He is the best, and he's the easiest person to imitate from the opening. That
I Freaking love it.
The spot where they're all posing for their photo pictures and
Yeah, it's pretty good. He's the man. I like him a lot. All right, they should
went
have
from-
called.
went from looking like the biggest nerd in the world to looking like a guy is like, oh man, dude, I want to hang out with that guy. He seems so funny and sarcastic and
Side note, I would have
Yes.
called this movie Rideshare. That's what I would have called it. I think
Ah,
Stuber is a
Ride
dumb
Scare.
name. Or Ride Scare's even better. That's even better.
Ride Scare.
Yeah. I'll
Ride
take
Scare.
any of that over Stuber.
Stuber.
Stuber
Yeah.
sounds like a stupid tuber.
Stuber sounds like, oh, this might be about as good as Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah, it's bad.
Lesarge is right. Ride Scare sounds like a horror movie.
Yeah, a little bit. 57% currently in Rotten Tomatoes. Only 7 reviews though, so that could improve for them. I don't.
I didn't even think it was out. Is it actually
No,
out?
it's just coming soon. July 12th looks like,
Okay.
and they've got
Okay.
just 7 early reviews for it. So I don't know how reputable.
Wow, but it's rocking a 58%.
Yeah, 57% out of what? See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total reviews, but it's all websites like We Live Entertainment or I guess Variety's a big one. Slash Film liked it. Hollywood Reporter kind of liked it, and RogerEbert.com, which still runs reviews from people, hated it. So good luck
Yeah.
to Stuber.
If man, what kind of world do we live in where the new Men in Black film with Tessa freaking Thompson is doing worse than a film about a inept Uber driver who picks up an angry, on the edge FBI or cop or whatever he is.
Yeah, Men in Black International rocking a 23%. No one likes this. Let's see.
Oh, that's right. He is in both. He does the voice of that little acorn looking dude.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Well, he's getting around now,
Men in
isn't he?
Black.
He's getting all over
Yes,
the place.
he's getting quite a. Yeah. Have you seen any of the Twilight Zone yet? The CBS All Access Twilight Zone?
No, is he in that too?
He's in one of the first two or three. We watched the first couple out of order because I really wanted to see the Nightmare on 20,000 Feet remake with Adam Scott. But he's in one of the first couple as a comedian whose jokes have a very surprising effect, Scott.
Mm.
Without issuing any spoilers, he's a comedian who's not doing very well, whose jokes all of a sudden because he makes a deal with the devil. I don't know if he makes a deal with the devil. They get some advice from Tracy Morgan.
Oh, good.
Uh,
That's as good as the devil. That's fine.
it is. Well, I'm not selling this episode of the Twilight Zone very well, am I?
No, but it sounds like I need to check that out. I mean, he's in so many things.
Yeah.
And I'm embarrassed to say I haven't seen any Silicon Valley, not even one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't seen.
It's-
Not that
you
I
know
don't
what?
want to. I just haven't done it. you
Well,
know?
it's Berg. Dave Berg, the guy who does Barry, does that as well. It's not. I don't think it's as well written as Barry, but it's.
Oh wait, Dave Berg, I thought it was Matt or what's his name that did King of the Hill and Beavis and
Oh,
Butthead.
Judge. Right, Mike Judge.
Yeah, Mike Judge. Isn't it Mike Judge? I thought it was
Well,
Mike
there is a
Judge.
connection. Isn't there a connection? Hold on a
Maybe
second.
they
I thought there was a connection between Barry and
Maybe they
Alec
co-created
Berg.
it.
Not Dave Berg, Alec Berg.
Maybe they co-created it or something.
I think they co-created it because I think Alec Berg is involved somehow with.
Well,
Maybe it's just the fact that one's on right after the.
yeah, it could be that. It's
Right
all
after the
blending together. I
Is that
didn't.
really it? I guess it. No, here we go. Silicon Valley executive producer Alec Berg.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, that makes sense though, because
It's a Mike Judge. joint.
HBO shows have a lot of that trickle down with their shows. Like
Mhm.
somebody will be working on something and then move over to another project, and then everyone will go, "Oh, that guy worked on both HBO shows." That happens a lot. By the way, I didn't notice this before, and now I'm more excited than ever because I was digging around Rotten Tomatoes here looking for those reviews, and
Sure.
I didn't know Tony Hale played Forky in the new Toy Story 4. I had no
Oh,
idea.
really? He's the voice of Forky?
Yeah, that like freaked out little
the
trash
new
monster.
little makeshift plastic fork pipe cleaner.
Yeah, I'm more excited than ever. Also, that thing is killing it. That's got like, oh my lord, 98% tomato meter, 95% audience
Wow.
score. Let's see, 325 reviews. That's really good percentage. Let's see, verified rating, 17,630 people make up 95% audience score. That's strong. I want to see it.
I hope enough people go see that movie that it keeps Tom Merritt firmly in second place in the summer movie
I
draft.
did too. I'm really pushing for him for second place.
Or is that or does Amtrekker have? Tom has.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, he has Lion King.
Right.
Yeah, he has Lion King.
He has Lion King. That's right. Amtrekker has Toy Story 4.
Wait a minute. Keanu Reeves is in Toy Story 4. Oh my gosh, he is.
I need toys.
He's
Lots of toys.
His name is Duke Kaboom. And his name of his character.
Kaboom. Okay, so he's like a G.I. Joe. Oh, no, I guess we already had a G.I. Joe. We had Sarge.
I guess so.
Duke Kaboom.
Joan Cusack is back. Bonnie Hunt. Kristen Schaal is in here as Trixie. Oh, she was in the last one in 3.
She, if you're doing an animated film and you don't have Kristen Schaal, you're doing it wrong.
Blake Clark will be playing Slinky Dog because what's his name died. Jim Varney ain't around no more.
Jim Varney, yeah.
Don Rickles is still Mr.
Keanu Reeves' character is the Canadian Evel Knievel.
Oh, good. That's perfect.
Kaboom. Yeah,
that's what you want. Don Rickles is in it again, or he's credited in it, but I assume that's old dialogue because he's dead. He'd be dead.
No, I thought he's.
Oh,
I
hell
thought Don
no.
Rickles was still alive.
He is long dead. Remember that Vegas trip I took and they did the big tribute up on the Fremont ceiling for him and all that?
Oh, yeah, you're right. 2017. You're right. I forgot that he passed away. Because it's funny, I just saw him on a Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, and so I thought, but obviously, older episode.
Yeah. Good one, though. That was a great episode. I totally enjoyed that.
Really was.
So, yeah,
good.
I
love when Jerry meets up with, especially, the Mel Brooks Carl Reiner episode of Comedians in Cars is fantastic, with Carl Reiner sitting in front of Jeopardy with a TV tray and a bowl of soup from the deli.
Yep.
And it's not a bit. It's like him genuine.
That's those guys every night hanging out.
Yes, right.
It's
Watching
the best.
Jeopardy together.
Yeah,
oh, man.
it's the best.
Mel Brooks.
Can you imagine a better friendship that goes on for eternity? It's an amazing one. I love that.
I can't, Scott. I can imagine ours will be that someday. You and I will get together virtually over the internet, and we'll be 80 years old, and we'll be talking about, because we would get together for Green River Sushi.
A little bowl of soup
Jeopardy
in front of
3000 is on. Should we watch a little Jeopardy 3000?
Yeah,
It's
reconstituted.
really early for its time, but it's really good.
How's Alex Trebek doing? Let's see.
He's got talent.
He does have talent. I want to see.
He's actually said he's been doing really well.
Let's see.
He's beating the odds.
Updates his illness. Let's see. This was on. Oh yeah, recently. He says he's doing good, and he says he's on for next season. Okay, that's good. That's a hard one to beat. You got the pancreatic, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So that makes me
Good for
happy to
him.
hear that. That guy shouldn't die. We need him around. He's great.
We do. We absolutely do.
All right, Brian, I want to do a quiz today. And
I did not click that link. I love the title of it, though, so I'm excited about it.
Yep, the title.
Although the fact that it's BuzzFeed
it's probably
worries me a little bit.
Yeah, it'll
because
probably
BuzzFeed
be BS.
quizzes are
It's
hit and
BS.
miss.
It's all crap. I would call miss more than hit, is what I would say.
Oh, really?
But
Okay,
for this show, we're going to do it anyway. All right? That's how it's going to go.
All right.
So here are the questions, and I'm going to read them, and then you're going to answer them, and I'll give you the multiple choices that are available.
Is that how a quiz works, Scott?
Yeah, that's how a quiz works.
Is this the first question?
This must be the first quiz you've ever done, because clearly I don't know how quizzes work. All right, so here we go. The question overall is, how big of a Beatles fan are you? Okay, and I think you're probably a pretty big Beatles fan.
237 pounds of Beatles fan.
Oh, that's a lot of Beatles fanage. Well, here's your first question. Let's see how this one lands on you. What was the only song written by George Harrison to be released as a single? And I can give you multiple choice if you'd like to hear them.
All right. I think it's something, but I will hear the four choices.
The four choices are Taxman, Something, as you just mentioned, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and I'm Happy Just to Dance with You.
Oh, shoot. It might be that fourth one. I mean, all four of those are George Harrison penned songs.
Yeah.
I feel like they might be either they're throwing the Happy Just to Dance with You, which was very early, like pre Hard Day's Night, if I remember correctly. Boy, let's see. I'm gonna stick with Something because it was my first thought.
All right, here we go. Clicking it. All right, it says correct.
All right, good. Okay, good.
I would have said E,
While my guitar gently weeps.
Nope. I would have said
Oh,
E.
you got my mind set on you.
I would have said E. I'm just going to start my sentences, and I'd like you to finish them all. That'd be great for the rest of the show.
E, here comes the sun.
Yeah, very good. All right, number 2.
Yes.
What year did John say the Beatles were more popular than Jesus? And your options are
Ooh.
66, 67, 64, or 65. I feel like these are out of order to throw you, probably.
Yeah, it was later in their tenure. They were pretty much wrapping up in 1969. So it's either going to be 67 or 68. I'm going to say 67.
67, here goes. The answer is 66, it says. Beatles, oh, wow.
It was when they were doing an American interview, and
yeah, and there's you should see these headlines. It's almost like the internet existed then. This is good to actually see.
I know, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
The newspaper reporters were all angry internet bloggers.
Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, here's your third question. Which song was not musically referenced in All You Need Is Love? And here are the songs, and you can decide which one was not referenced in there. Okay. In the Mood by Glenn Miller. La Marseillaise, whatever that is, a French national anthem. Love Me by Elvis Presley. And She Loves You by the Beatles.
All right. So All You Need Is Love begins with La Marseillaise, the French da na 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 na. So that's for sure in there. And She Loves You, yeah, 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 is at the very end. When they're repeating All You Need Is Love, you hear Paul going, She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so those two definitely out. The other two are Love Me by Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
And what was the other one?
She Loves You, let's see, Love Me and In the Mood by Glenn Miller.
In the Mood. I think it's In the Mood by Glenn Miller. I don't think is
no reference.
Is referenced. It's one of those two. It's either Love Me or In the Mood. I'm going to say it's In the Mood. Although I can't think of how either one of them is referenced in there. But...
Yeah, I can't hear it either, to be honest. Like the songs.
All right,
I'm
going to say it's In the Mood.
In the Mood. It was Love Me by Elvis Presley.
It wasn't Love Me.
Yeah.
Shoot, I wonder how that's referenced in there.
I don't know. It's weird. All
treat
right.
me like a fool, treat me mean and cruel. That's my impersonation of Nicolas Cage impersonating Elvis Presley.
That's pretty good.
From the movie Not True Romance, Wild at Heart.
Yes, very good. All right, next. All right, so Elvis was not in there. Let's do this one. Who of the following were never a member of the Beatles? Okay. So these are people who were never a member of the Beatles. I'm going to give you the names as written here. There are 4 of them. Stuart Sutcliffe,
Sure.
Tommy Moore, Jimmy Nicol, or Arthur Mack.
Ooh, dang. All right, Stu Sutcliffe is the only one that I know for sure was a member of the Beatles.
Yeah. Wasn't he the drummer?
His story is told in the...
He's the drummer.
No, he was a guitarist. Pete Best was a drummer, and I think Jimmy Nicol was a drummer too during the studio sessions for She Loves You, if I remember correctly. Or I Want to Hold Your Hand. I'm sorry, I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Okay.
Who are the other two?
The other two are Arthur Mack and Tommy Moore.
I want to say Tommy Moore was another studio musician at Abbey Road Studios. I'm going to say it's Arthur Mack. No, you know what? I'm going to say Tommy Moore. Tommy Moore.
Final answer, Tommy Moore. Here we
Final
go.
answer, Tommy Moore.
Arthur Mack is the correct answer.
Dang it.
Member of the
Boy, I
Peacemakers.
keep getting down to the 50-50s and blowing it.
Yeah, I guess Brian Epstein managed both bands, and so he brought him in.
Okay. What was the other band?
The other band is the Pacemakers.
The Pacemakers. Right, Jerry and the Pacemakers.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Do you know anyone with a pacemaker? This is an offshoot question. Do you ever met anybody who's got one?
I think I do. I mean, I've met people who've had them, but I don't currently know anybody in my life who has a pacemaker.
I don't either. I don't think I know anyone with a pacemaker. I kind of wish I did because I want to know what that's like. I want to put my ear up to their chest and hear what's going on inside there. Chat room says people, what? Oh, I do? Elsie Knight has one. So Elsie Knight,
Oh,
can
okay.
you go through like airport security and do all the things you want to do, or is there any issues with it? What do you worry about?
Are there things that trigger?
Yeah.
You have to be very careful of that remotely trigger your pacemaker.
Yeah. If somebody's like,
Bluetooth? Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
A very aggressive Wi-Fi band?
yeah, that's the question. Like with all these new bands or all this new bandwidth we use and all these frequencies you use, are you at risk at all, or are you just fine? I don't know. I'm curious. All right, he'll answer when he answers. Oh, he says, I have a card which gets me to skip the scanners, but then I get wanded. Oh, that's scary too, getting wanded. Those aren't supposed to go up your butt.
Depends on who's doing the wanding.
Yeah, but you don't want that wand up your butt. That's what they do to me every time I go. I hate it.
A very aggressive wanding.
Yeah. All right.
Fish called wanded.
Here's one for you. What song was the B-side to Lady Madonna? And your options are Rain.
Obla di Obla da is my guess, but I want to hear the rest.
Rain, Revolution, The Inner Light, I Am the Walrus. There is no
No, I'm
Obla di
pretty
Obla da.
sure it was Revolution now that I hear those choices.
Let's check it out. The Inner Light is the correct answer. The Inner
Light, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there you go.
I hate A-side and B-side questions because I didn't grow up in a world where those were as much a thing as they were before I was born.
Right. You and I, it was all tapes and singles.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Didn't really mess with that.
What was the fourth track on the CD reissue of Lady Madonna?
Totally.
All
All right. Next question. This is number 6. Where was the last Beatles stadium concert performed? Your options are London,
Shea Stadium, I think.
London, San Francisco, Manila, or Liverpool.
Oh, really? God, I could have sworn that. Okay. I thought their last stadium tour was in America at Shea Stadium, and Paul said, I don't want to do these anymore. But all right. So I'm sorry. The four choices again: Liverpool, Manila.
San Francisco and London.
Oh, San Francisco. Okay, it was San Francisco. Not Shea. What is the stadium in San Francisco?
I thought Shea was in. Isn't Shea Stadium back east? Well, I may have that wrong in my head. Shea Stadium.
I might
thought
have
was-
it wrong too, but it's definitely Shea Stadium.
Oh, it's Candlestick, right?
Or I mean, I'm sorry, it's definitely San Francisco is what I mean.
San Francisco. All right, gotcha. The answer is correct. They played at the Candlestick Park, is what you were thinking of as the park.
Candlestick is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, and Paul leaned over during the show, to John, and his big complaint was that the screaming was so loud that there's no way the audience, because of an audience that size, there was no way they could hear the music, and the Beatles could barely hear themselves play.
Yeah,
So they're like, I
but
don't want to do these anymore.
These are just a place for us to hang this up like paintings and have people scream at us. That's pretty much all it is.
Exactly. We could just be going through the motions up here, and they'd have no idea because they can't hear us over there screaming.
Yeah, it's very weird. All right, we got a question here. Who drew the cover art for the album Revolver? How are you going to even know this? All right.
That's Astrid. Go ahead and give me the four choices.
Klaus Vormann, Peter Max, Alan Aldridge, and Heinz Elderman.
Why is the name Astrid not in there? I could have sworn that was it was Stu Sutcliffe's girlfriend. I thought the cover of Revolver, the hand drawn.
Yeah, it's all inky and weird looking.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's great. It's like
It's got photos integrated in it, like collage stuff going on.
right. All right, so Peter Max definitely out. He's the guy who did that art for Yellow Submarine, like the apple bunkers and the flying glove and stuff like that.
That one's
So
trying
Peter
to
Max
throw
definitely
you,
out.
I think. They're trying to throw you with Peter Max.
Totally, because he did do artwork for the Beatles.
Yeah.
Klaus Vormann.
Yeah.
Klaus Vormann might be it. God, I could have sworn. It's funny. Again, I thought it was Stu Sutcliffe's girlfriend Astrid who did that. But what are the other? Are any of them a lady?
Unless Heinz Elderman is a lady, no. Or
No.
Klaus
All right. So
Vormann.
Heinz Elderman, Klaus Vormann. What was the one I have left?
Alan Aldridge. We already eliminated Peter Max.
Yeah, we are eliminated Peter Max. He's been eliminated.
Yeah.
Let's go with Aldridge.
Aldridge. Click.
Yeah,
It was Klaus Vormann.
it was Klaus.
Friend
okay.
of the Beatles from their days in Hamburg. Aside from being a graphic artist, he was a musician and record producer. Remained friends with the Beatles throughout their entire career. All right, next question. What is the only Beatles single in which they don't play any instruments? You'll totally get this.
Oh, Across the Universe would be my. Let's hear the choices. But Across the Universe is a cappella. So.
All right.
Oh no, it's
Options.
not. There's a little keyboard in there. But all right, let's hear what we got.
Revolution number 9, or Revolution 9, I guess.
Sure.
Because She's Leaving Home and Eleanor Rigby.
Because that's the one that's all a cappella.
Let's try it out. Eleanor Rigby, it says.
What?
None
really?
of the Beatles play any instruments on the song. They didn't. They didn't on "She's Leaving Home" either, but that was never released as a single. So
Oh,
there you
I
go.
didn't realize that. I mean, I know it's orchestral backed, Eleanor Rigby, and I guess, wow.
Yeah, you know what? You're not wrong to have aimed for a cappella, obviously.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
the least-
because is the one that does have keyboard, like it's got a clavichord background to it.
Yeah.
Huh,
All right,
okay.
we're getting down this home stretch here. Who never performed on a Beatles record? Okay, here are your options.
right,
These are going to be
choose.
famous names. You're going to know these names. Eric
Okay.
Clapton.
While my guitar gently weeps.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Marianne Faithfull. Sorry. For some reason that name looked weird in my head. Yoko Ono. And Eric Burden.
Oh, Eric Burden from the Animals. Ooh, interesting. Okay, I think Yoko performed on, she did something backing vocal wise or something on the Let It Be album. And I know for sure Eric Clapton was one of the guitarists in While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Okay.
That was when the whole Patty Harrison thing was going on.
That leaves you Marianne
Eric
and
Burden.
Eric Burden. Yep.
Marianne Faithfull feels like she was involved in that whole New York scene that Paul McCartney and John would have pulled her in for. So I'm going to say Eric Burden of the Animals. Eric Burden not never performed on a Beatles record.
You would be ding 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 correct. That is correct.
Jeez.
He never did.
I needed something to redeem myself from all of these.
That's a good one. All right. Which Beatles song is considered the first song to ever utilize guitar amplifier feedback? And your options are Day Tripper, I Feel Fine, Can't Buy Me Love, or Ticket to Ride.
I think it's I Feel Fine. It's the first note you hear, like it's a so I think it's
right.
I Feel Fine.
All right, let's check that. Sorry, my screen went wacko. All right. I was skipping ahead to see how many total questions there are, and there are 20. We are halfway. All
Okay.
right, so
all right, it's all right. This is fun.
Yeah, I like
we
it.
don't need to do news.
Nah, screw news. You are correct. I Feel Fine is the correct answer. All right, you're on a roll now. 2-answer roll. Here you
Okay.
go. Number 11. Which
Keep
song?
this train moving.
Which song does not have the title in its lyrics? And the options are Tomorrow Never Knows, Savoy Truffle, Blue Jay Way, and Dig a Pony.
I dig a pony.
They just have it as Dig a Pony. I don't have I in there, but
Just Dig a Pony. Okay, so Dig a Pony does, and Savoy Truffle
yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Blue Jay Way, I think, does. And the fourth one you said, I'm sorry, was
Tomorrow Never Knows.
Tomorrow Never Knows. That's one of those hippy dippy Ravi Shankar influenced ones, and I don't think Tomorrow Never Knows has the words Tomorrow Never Knows in there.
Yeah, that stuff got real weird then, didn't it? Let's click it. Tomorrow Never Knows is the correct answer. Well done.
Yeah.
Next question. On the cover of Abbey Road, what order are the Beatles walking in, left to right?
Oh crap. Okay. It is left to right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's gonna be 4 choices, but it's way better if I do this without.
If you want. However, whatever you feel better about. I feel like it might be more confusing to give you these orders unless you know exactly which one it is. I can give them to you if you want.
Well, I know Paul is 3rd, and I think John is 4th, going left to right. I think John's in the front of the pack. So, are there choices? Are there any choices where it's so and so, Paul, John?
Yes, there are two choices like that. So I'll give you those
Of
two
course,
options.
George Ringo, Paul, John, and Ringo, George, Paul, John.
Yep, those are your 2. I guess that's obvious, but yeah, I didn't think of it either.
Yeah, George Ringo or Ringo George. I think. Shoot. I think Ringo's probably pulling up the rear. Let's say Ringo, George, Paul, John.
All right, let's give it a shot. That is one of the options, and it is Ringo, George, Paul, John. I'm sorry, it is George, Paul, Ringo, John.
George Ringo. Oh, really? So Paul was second. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I think I was basing it on a flimsy foundation of Paul being third.
I'll tell you what, though, in my head, I had the same order as you did. I was sure of it.
Yeah.
I thought the bare feet were at least one dude over, but they're not. He goes
second.
George,
Okay.
Paul.
With his cigarette and his unkempt appearance.
Yeah, because Paul is dead, right? That was the sign that he was dead.
Paul is dead. Right, exactly. Because
Yeah.
he's walking barefoot and he's holding a cigarette. And
Here we go. What is the last song recorded collectively by all four of the Beatles? And your options are mostly two-letter words. Well, there's a couple three letters. Anyway, Get Back, Let It Be, The End, I, Me, Mine.
I think it was all tracks from Let It Be. I want to say it was The End because they were all so pissed off at each other that they couldn't even stand to be in the studio together for stuff like Get Back, and I'm gonna say it's The End.
The End, okay.
Which is that big long, second side capper.
Photos from that era, they all look pissed. They're just grumpy as shit.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. I think it's the only drum solo, the only Ringo Starr drum solos in that song too.
Oh, wow.
At the end.
All right, I'm hitting the end then. Correct. The answer is The End. It was recorded afterwards, but John Lennon was absent in that session. Or sorry, I Me, Mine was recorded after, but he wasn't there.
Right.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know this. Did you know they had a plaque made with a slogan that says, "And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make." The End. The Beatles. I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that. A plaque. Oh, at Abbey Road Studios,
Yeah.
probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's their way of.
I've never gotten further than the front gate of Abbey Road Studios.
Well, they wouldn't let you in.
But I did walk across the zebra crossing. Oh no.
Oh, you did? That's cool. Did you do it with bare feet?
Uh-huh. No, I didn't, and I had to time it perfectly.
Do you have a photo?
'cause there was
Send me a
traffic.
photo. You have a photo?
Oh, I absolutely have a photo. I'll find the photo while we're asking the questions.
Oh, okay. I'm all excited now. All right, 14. What was Paul McCartney's working title for Yesterday? And here are your options.
Scrambled eggs.
Oh, that's on here.
Tell you that without even, scrambled eggs for sure.
All right, the options were Peppermint, Every Girl, Scrambled Eggs, Silly Boy. Let's see if Scrambled Eggs is correct. It is. It's totally correct. Ooh, and they have a nice
those
plate.
are the original lyrics of the song were scrambled eggs.
Which of the Beatles was born first? George, Paul, John, or Ringo?
George is the oldest, maybe.
He looks like the
I
oldest.
think.
He always looked older than everybody else.
He did, yeah. I'm gonna say George is the oldie.
All right. Wrong, Ringo.
Ringo.
Ringro's going to outlive everybody. It's going to be Ringo, and that's it.
He is, right? He totally is.
But he's also the oldest, which is crazy. All right, number 16. Which Beatles song is about a dog? The options are I'm So Tired, Martha, My Dear, Julia, Why Don't We Do It on the Road? Those are your four options.
Right. So Julia is Paul McCartney's mother. I'm pretty sure it's Martha. I think that was. Why did you say the name Martha? I think it was John's dog was Martha.
Sure.
'Cause Why Don't We Do It in the Road is just about having sex in the road.
Yeah.
That's silly.
Yeah, no one does that with a dog. Jeez, come on now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Martha, My Dear, I'm clicking. Correct. The answer is correct. Martha was Paul's sheepdog.
Paul's dog. Okay.
Paul's dog. He had a sheepdog.
Paul is dog.
Paula's dog. Dog also.
So I don't
barefoot.
have the photo in my photo library because I took it before we had digital photos. Like I have actual a tangible photo. I'm gonna have to scan, but I will scan it and I will provide it for you.
Nice. All right, next up. Which ex-Beatle was the first to have a #1 solo hit in the U.S.? Who would you say?
You'd think it was because I'm sure the four choices are George, Paul, John, Ringo.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean you'd think it'd be somebody like Paul. I think it was Ringo with
What?
Photograph or something. It was funny because All Things Must Pass came out first, was the first solo album. But I think
That's what I say when I go
Ringo
to Taco
had a
Bell.
single-
All things will pass.
All things must pass.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it was Ringo, but I can't remember the song.
All right, let's find out if it was Ringo. It was George Harrison.
It was George. Okay, so was it My Sweet Lord or What Is Life?
My Sweet Lord, number 1, December 1970.
Yeah.
Boy, that is a 70s ass album. Look at that thing.
Oh, it's such a great dude. All Things Must Pass is a brilliant album. You've got stuff on there like Beware of Darkness, What Is Life. What Is Life is one of the best songs of all time.
Are you
One of the best solo Beatles songs of all
Are
time.
you sure it's not I've Got My Mind Set on You? That's not the one you
I'm
prefer?
positive. I'm positive. I know
Okay.
that's a favorite.
Yeah, can
Of
be.
yours.
All right.
But What Is Life is just right from the get-go just rocks.
I'm going to go listen to it today.
Yeah.
As to
yes.
your
Put it on
recommendation.
Make it. Put a sticky note. Say What Is Life, George Harrison, and play it as soon as we're done with the show.
Totally going to do that. In fact, I'm copying that off onto my desktop there. Boy, it does rock now that you sing
It
it.
does rock. You can tell from my
Yep.
my rendition that it does rock.
All right, number 18. I Am the Walrus contains dialogue from what Shakespeare play? And the options are Hamlet, Macbeth, Richard III, or King Lear.
Let's see. I'm the walrus. I'm he as you or we as when we're all together. See how they run like pigs from a gun. See how they fly. I think Richard III.
Richard III. I will now click it.
Yes,
It was King Lear. King Lear.
it is King Lear. Gidget had that one in the chat room. She said King Lear.
Specifically because John Lennon says here was fiddling with an AM radio into the microphone and happened to catch a BBC radio play of King Lear, and it inspired him. And that would have been Laurence Olivier, or as I said as a kid, Laurence Oliver.
Lawrence Oliver.
Number 19, second to last question, the penultimate question. What was the first Beatles song recorded in stereo sound? And your options are I Saw Her Standing There, Hold Me Tight, 8 Days a Week, and I Wanna Hold Your Hand.
8 Days a Week is the one that's coming to mind. What was that one of the lead-off songs, one of the lead-off singles from Help or Hard Day's Night? I think it was 8 Days a Week.
All right, I'm going to click it. And before I do, I just want to say this. My only complaint about the Beatles has always been this one thing. When they went stereo, they decided to do that whole thing where the left track is purely a guitar, and on this side is purely whatever else, voice, whatever. It's
the
not
vocals, yes.
good. It's not good. You're supposed to mix that around a little bit. Instead, it's just like I feel like I'm deaf when that's happening over here because nothing's happening. I hate it. Drives me
They
crazy.
didn't know what they were doing. George Martin didn't know what he was doing when they did all that stuff. But the Yellow Submarine album, if you turn off the right speaker and on Yellow Submarine, I think all you get is vocals, especially during Hey Bulldog.
Yeah, it's obnoxious. I don't understand it. I'm sure they thought it was cool because stereo was new. I get that. But geez Louises. All right, sorry. Did you say 8 days a week?
I said 8 days a week.
All right. The answer is wrong. It was I want to hold your hand. I want to hold your hand.
Okay.
Final question.
Oh my God, gotta finish strong. Finish strong,
Yep,
Brian. Come
yep,
on.
You're going to win this one. All right. What is the last cover song the Beatles ever recorded? This is for you, Brian. Last
Ooh,
cover
look at this.
song.
Wow. Oh my God. If I talk about pitching right into my wheelhouse and giving me a really big opportunity to fail hard.
Yeah. Actually, it is the exact question that inspired me to go, ooh, I'm using this for the show. So
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
So here are your options. Dizzy Miss Lizzy, Maggie May, Act Naturally, or Sun King.
Okay. Well, Act Naturally was Ringo Starr covering Buck Henry. Everyone always thinks that Ringo Starr did the original on that, but he was actually covering Buck Henry.
Okay.
Sun King, I don't think is a cover. Dizzy Miss Lizzy is for sure. And what was the fourth one? Sorry.
Sun King, Act Naturally, Maggie May.
Yeah.
Was it Maggie May?
Maggie May. Yeah, and that's probably there as a little joke. Oh, Buck Owen, not Buck Henry. Yes, thank you. Maggie May, because there's the Small Faces, Rod Stewart, Maggie May. The Beatles had a different song called Maggie May on their last album, and that wasn't a cover of the Faces one. I don't know if that was a cover of something else though.
Did you ever prove it true that Rod Stewart drank a whole bunch of semen? Do you remember
And
that?
had to have his stomach pumped.
Yeah, had to have
that's
his stomach pumped because he drank like 4
definitely,
gallons of steamed
false.
semen. Okay, it was fake. All right, that's fine. And the one was the one with the gerbil in the butt. Somebody else had that going. I don't remember.
Richard Gere was the
Gere.
gerbil in the butt
Yeah.
story.
Was
yes.
that disproved as well? Was that?
I think that was disproved as well.
All
Yeah.
right. Well done, guys.
Yes, I know I got Buck Henry and Buck Owens confused. Sue me for that.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say Dizzy Miss Lizzy because that's the only one of the 4 that I know for sure is a cover out of that list. Maggie May might have been a cover of somebody else, but I'm going to say Dizzy Miss Lizzy.
All right, Dizzy Miss Lizzy. I'm clicking it. Let's find out. The answer was Maggie May. Oh, you were so
was
close.
Maggie May.
Yeah, it says Maggie
Yeah.
May is a traditional Liverpool folk song dating back to the 1800s. Became popular again during the Skittle craze. What is the Skittle craze?
Skiffle.
Oh,
not
I'm
skiffle,
reading it wrong.
skiffle.
Skiffle craze that the young people.
That's the
What is that? What does that
that's
mean?
that is the style of music that that Paul and John used to do in the Cavern Club was skiffle, which is like kind of a washboardy, faster beat, kind of music.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They have an album here listed called "The Very Best of the Vipers Skiffle Groups." Here's your answer, Brian. It's all added up. You got 8 out of 20 right,
Yeah,
and it says
wow.
you are a real nowhere man. That's what they called you.
I'll take that. Yeah, that's
It says you have 4,000 holes in your Beatles knowledge. Was that a reference to a song?
yeah, that's a reference to A Day in the Life.
Oh.
Now they know how many holes it takes to fill the Albert Hall.
Oh. See, why isn't that question on there? You would have known that one.
4,000 holes in Blackford, Lancashire.
See, he knows all the questions. They gave us the wrong ones. That's what happened
They
there.
apparently did. Yeah, they apparently did.
Yeah.
Do you want me to ask you this really quick question?
Yeah.
Because we can tackle one news story, but so we get that movie coming out in a couple days, that Yesterday movie about the guy who wakes up in a world, gets hit by a bus, wakes up in a world where the Beatles never existed,
Right.
and then makes a fortune playing Beatles songs.
Right.
And it got me thinking as I was in the lift today, if I could choose, if either one of us could choose what kind of world we'd wake up in where some key element was missing, what would we want it to be that we could capitalize on because we'd be able to create this thing that was missing? Because it couldn't be Beatles music,
Yeah.
because I can't play an instrument to save my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could really quickly learn, but
Does it have to be
like
something
what-
we're good at then? Is that what you're saying? Something we're already good at that we would then
No, I
replace
mean, it could be
the-
something. No, not necessarily. It could just be something that you know about that you could then spark the genesis of, or launch the creation of.
Right. It has to be something historically that went huge.
Yeah. Like I was thinking, could I remember enough Seinfeld storylines that I could create the Seinfeld sitcom, but it's called Brian or something like that, right? Like,
I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's in the spirit
Yeah.
of your question, I think. I'm struggling
Yeah.
here. I would probably say, oh geez. I mean, it's easy to say, oh, I'll be Mark Zuckerberg, or I'll be Steve Jobs, or I'll be,
Right.
that, but it'll be called, Butt Book or whatever it is. And then, but I don't think I really want to do any of those. Like, those guys are kind of miserable in their later time. Like,
Right.
Jobs was cranky
Right.
all
But
the
I mean,
time and freaking.
well, Jobs had issues that stemmed from outside of his Apple founding ship, right? He was kind of a little bit of a megalomaniac, or a little bit of a control freak.
Mm-hmm. I mean, some would argue that that's what made Apple great, is that his fiery,
Totally
his
could.
fiery
Yeah.
bad.
But I mean, you could maybe remember enough of the original Apple interface that you could find Steve Wozniak and say, "Dude, I have an idea. I want you to make this happen, but I have an idea for this new interface that we could do to make computers more personal and easier to use for people."
Yeah, I think that's a decent one. I'm trying to think of one in like art or something, and I can't think of one. Like who's got?
Yeah, could you remember enough of the Far Side card strips that you could be.
Maybe.
I woke up in a world that Gary Larson didn't exist.
I think maybe that's possible. I mean, I was thinking it would be cool to be like Andy Warhol. You could go do all his stuff and become super famous and everything. But also, I don't think that life looks very fun. It looks kind of miserable and shitty. So you're just surrounded by weird people that are only there because you're Andy Warhol and for no other reason. Like, none of this is good. I don't know. I don't think I can think of one. And I'm guessing that this Danny Boyle movie boils down to that. Like, no pun intended. I did not mean that. But like, if he, like, I'm sure the whole point is there's caveats to being the guy that came up with all the Beatles stuff when the Beatles don't exist. Like, it's not going to be all roses for him, right?
Right. I want to address that, but I really have to point out TVZ Gone Crazy. One of the funniest things. Scott Johnson creates Kathy.
Oh my Lord.
Her like sweat shooting out of her head. Ack!
Ack. Yeah, ack.
I have too many shoes. Ack, ack, ack.
That would be the worst scenario. The worst.
Exactly. Yeah.
Scenario.
All right. So yeah. So obviously neither of us have seen the movie.
No.
Is your prediction then that does the movie end with him, something happening to him, and he wakes up and it's the Beatles are around again, and not really the whole thing was a dream, but he comes back to his own reality with a realization that he needs to make it on his own and not steal other people's music? Or does the movie end with him still in that world and he's done making Beatles music and he moves on to make solo Paul McCartney music?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question.
Someone's knocking at the door. Someone's ringing the bell.
I think it probably ends.
Arguably a far worse song that I've got in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that he probably does the first scenario. That's just the way I see that going. Like it
wakes up back in a world where the Beatles existed.
Yes, and he'll be relieved at that point.
Yeah.
Because it was a burden, it turns out. It was hard. It was not all glory and wonderful. It was hard. So I think that's probably what'll happen.
Yeah.
I just thought of one though, a better one. You want to be Stan Lee. Stan Lee never existed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but you know all his
that's
comics.
A good one.
You know what Spider-Man is. You know the whole lineup. You know all about Marvel, where it went, what came of it. You go back. The problem is, would you have to go back through the rough years, though? Because they were always hanging by a string. They were always about to get fired.
The premise is that he's in the here and now, because he's on, in the trailer he goes on the James Corden show and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So the premise is the Beatles never existed, which is funny because I guess that means that like Oasis never existed. It means that
yeah, how many bands and groups were inspired by them? Like way more than we probably think.
Totally. The Stone Roses maybe never existed. The Ruddles never existed.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do. It's almost perfect. It's more perfect for music, which is obviously why they're doing this.
But Stan Lee. So you'd never have Marvel comics in this reality, but you would have had DC, and Superman would have been now around for 50 plus years, 51 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So would you then, create this whole different comic book universe?
Well, the concept is that the Beatles were timeless, right? That their music transcends generations and age and gender, and it doesn't matter. Like the Beatles will always be this pinnacle of music. Whereas I don't know if that's true of comic books. Like you need the history of Marvel to appreciate where they are, because not only do they have their ups and downs, but if it was brand new today, 2019, and I said I'm starting Jarvel Comics, and here comes the Hulk. He's a big green dude who gets changed by some gamma rays. Nobody in 2019 is going to give a shit.
I know, because there are already so many other comic publishers out there, and
now that you say that,
thought. I mean, would there be certain DC characters without the Marvel characters that they were kind of loosely based on?
Yeah, like
the Blue Beetle. Would the Blue Beetle exist? He was kind of DC's answer to Spider-Man, or Lobo was what the Wolverine anti-hero kind of thing. I can't remember. There was a.
Well, it's funny because they kind of co-opted Blue Beetle into being more Spider-Man-ish, because in the old radio plays he was just more like I mean, that stuff was in like the 40s, maybe even 30s.
Oh, really? Okay, so
I think that's where it started. I'm not sure.
Charlton. That's right. Okay, Blue Beetle was Charlton. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't now. The more I talk about it, the less I like it. I think it has to be a big auteur thing. Star Wars, maybe, because I'm not so sure Star Wars launches today. But see, again, the entire film industry is so informed by Star Wars.
Sure.
Like in this timeline, is it even possible that we're probably all dead without one of these things? Like I'm fascinated by the like the what's her name in Endgame and her PowerPoint presentation. That stuff fascinates me.
Right, the ancient one.
Yeah, these split offs and what it does to the timelines. That's kind of stuff super interesting to me.
Totally.
Hey, if Tin Man 741 says anything in the chat, Mod should ban him. He's just spamming me endlessly. I don't know why.
Oh, really? Yeah, he hasn't said anything in chat.
Spamming me in direct messages. So write that down.
Wow. Is he asking you for a heart though?
No,
maybe
he's not.
Maybe he thinks you're the wizard.
He's not. He's saying, "Hey, click this link and find unlimited followers for your channel." It's all horseshit. All right, we're going to do one story, a quick one, in the news. That's what we're going to do, and I'm going to play this first so that we can do it.
This is your radio newscaster with another exclusive, sensational summary of world and local events.
It's the news, and it's brought to you by...
Hey, are you getting into podcasting, or do you want to get into podcasting even further? Do you want to talk to folks like Scott Johnson, Justin Robert Young, and Tom Merritt every week and get ideas and coaching and support and experience, all that stuff? Well, send in your application to be part of season 2 of America's Next Top Podcaster right now. Go to americasnexttoppodcaster.com and be in the contestant pool. We're going to be pulling from that in mid-July, so get your application in right now and be a part of it.
Nice. All right.
Yes, I strongly urge people to do so.
I'm going to do this one. Oh, yeah, I like this one because it's ridiculous. It's the final story.
Okay. Are any of these not? I'm looking at the titles.
They're all ridiculous. Yeah, they're all up there.
Ridiculous, but this one's good.
Yeah, I think this is the one to do if we're going to do one. Detroit police arrest graffiti artist hired by the city. So this is how this went down. A graffiti artist commissioned by the city of Detroit to paint a mural. All right, the whole thing was the city officially said, we would like to commission you to paint a mural on the viaduct. And he said, okay, sure. He is a hired artist to do a job. So he went out there to do it. And the police thought he was committing vandalism and arrested the guy. The Detroit Free Press reports 29-year-old Sheafy McFly. Come on.
That's his artist name.
It's got to be.
It says it right after it. His real name.
Oh, his real name. Okay. If I would have just read 4 more letters. Whose real name is Tashif Turner. That also sounds fake, but whatever.
Well, it's a Middle Eastern name, Tashif, and that's where he gets Turner. The Sheafy.
Yeah, it's just that it sounds so it's so alliterative.
Think, McFly.
Yeah,
think
McFly. Anyway, he was arrested Wednesday. Detroit commissioned him as part of a multi-year effort to fight illegal graffiti with city-approved artwork. McFly said he didn't have his city-issued permit with him. He says multiple police cars arrived on the site as a city official showed up to vouch for him. Police spokesman Nicole Kirkwood says officers found McFly uncooperative. She says the disagreement led to McFly being arrested on suspicion of resisting and obstructing and a warrant for an old parking ticket. McFly says he was treated like a felon and felt threatened. Good job, Detroit. Well done.
So, I mean, Detroit's in the wrong for not knowing about this, but, instead of getting all, and this goes all over the place with false arrests and mistakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's just, take a breather and say, oh, no, I've been commissioned, instead of, why are you picking on me? I'm going to resist arrest and all that.
Yeah, you could have probably just worked it out with him,
Probably,
just
exactly.
Calm down.
Uncooperative does not help your case. Just, just say, hey, that's fine. We can go and figure this out, but here's the situation. And
now, if they say we need to check your anus for drugs,
well, if there's
resist.
Profiling in that aspect, sure.
Sure, you can resist. You can say,
oh my God. Talia just said Ibbott shows his whiteness.
His whiteness? What? Oh, because he's saying...
Because of the race thing. I mean, racial profiling I know is an absolute big issue. I'm certainly not going to dismiss that. But
I think what she's saying is if you are of color, which we assume Tashif is, that it's a different scenario. Like you're just immediately on the back foot because that's how it always is. And if you were a white guy, you would just cooperate. I think that's what they're saying.
Well, Insidian says just cooperate with the police is a very white thing to say. Right, but I don't know. Wouldn't there be fewer problems if instead of resisting and getting pushed down on the ground, and I know we've got overzealous cops out there. I know we do. Yeah. And it's not the alleged perpetrator's fault. But I know that sometimes violence escalates because somebody doesn't cooperate or resists or whatever, and you're much more better off at the end of all of it saying, yeah, I cooperated with them, they got it wrong, this is an injustice, rather than, oh, I fought them tooth and nail and kicked and punched and stuff like that. I don't know. I just feel like that stuff, and maybe I'm digging a bigger hole for myself, but I am only seeing this from a white guy perspective. Yeah. But I do feel like yeah,
it's easy for us to say, right? It's easy for us to say, hey, she wouldn't have been.
Are these people who are saying stuff like white folks speaking whiteness? Are there white folks in the chat room saying this stuff? Like, probably. Man, Brian, you're so white, Brian. I think that's coming from white people.
Well, yeah, of course it is. But I think it's like, what's it like? It's like me, if a girl gets attacked in the dark walking up a street, and it's too easy for me to say, well, just don't walk that way. You know what I mean? I think that's what they're saying. It's like, it's too easy for me because I'm in a position of I'm probably not going to be attacked, or I'm not going to be treated poorly by a cop, or whatever. I think that's all they're saying. But they also seem to be having quite a bit of fun
I'm too zen, but I'm feeling like, black, white, gay, straight, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're calm, and you don't have to necessarily be, okay, you got me, I'm doing this, but I was hired by the city. But just say, no, actually, I was hired by Detroit to do this, and da 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 da.
Yeah.
If you're calm and rational, then sometimes you can avoid a little bit of violence. That's all I'm saying, folks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's that's the thing you should probably encourage in everybody you know, regardless of anything.
Exactly. And again, sure, I'm too zen and I'm too idealistic and perfect world, but God, can I idealize a perfect world? Can't I?
Well, you can.
Is there something wrong with wanting to?
You can just do it easier. You can just do it easier than minorities. That's all. Like you can imagine that.
No argument. Yeah, you'll get no argument from me there, and that is a perspective that I absolutely have no basis of speaking from.
But you've been to jail. I've not been there, so I think you've got a little more jail time.
I've got that little bit of hardened criminal experience. Yeah,
you've been there. You've been in the hot room where they got like a toilet and 20 guys. I've only seen movies. I have no idea what's going on in there. I have no idea. Movies taught me everything I know about the correction system.
All right, let's just keep arguing and fighting and.
Keep it up.
I'll live in my own little peaceful Zen namaste world here.
Yeah, your little own menagerie. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Bill Duran will be here. Maybe he'll talk about building things. Probably. He's probably made a thing this week.
Probably.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
He'll want to talk about that. Then we'll have jury. It'll all be fun, so stick around. Before that, though, a song. Brian will explain it, and off we go. What do you got?
Hashtag Brian So White. Let's go up to Vancouver, BC for a pop rock trio called Chase Your Words. Now, these guys are definitely going to remind you of that kind of pop punk style of stuff like Blink-182 and I don't know, SR-71 maybe. This is a great tune. They've got a brand new album coming out. I'm sorry, a brand new EP coming out. This is the song Battle Scars coming out. Wow, September 12th. They're going to be supporting a band called The Wonder Years. Here's the Vancouver band, Chase Your Words.
All right, here it is. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
The big thing that I try to get people to wrap their heads around is that aliens aren't beings from another planet that are your friends and are here to save you. They are fallen angels, demons, Nephilim tribes that aren't your friends.
Good night, LaGuardia. I mean, Melania.
The morning stream. I'm a leaf on the wind. Watch how I soar.
All right, we're back, everybody. Welcome back to the program. We are going down the path of the punished props. If you got props, you want them punished, we got you covered. We can do that better than anybody here on the show because Bill Duran, a.k.a. the sexiest man alive, will be here shortly.
Whoa.
Oh, he's already here. Oh, no.
But Bill just isn't thinking about danger.
No, he's not. It's Bill Duran, everybody, all the way from Punished Props in somewhere near Seattle, Washington. Bill, welcome back to the show, sir.
From an undisclosed location in a bunker near Seattle.
That we've got a great video shot of right now that I'm casing and getting ready to come and tell people to rob it. No, that's not true. Hey, Bill.
No. Yeah, we need to see Brittany go and unlock the door in the background there and see what the code is in the back there.
Yeah. Somebody keep an eye on that, will you?
That's all we need.
Absolutely. Hey, why don't you tell us what's going on this week in the world of building things? Because that's what you do. You come on Tuesdays and you say, hey, look, I made a thing. And then us as an audience, we all look at that thing and we go, hey, I could make that thing. I should learn from him how to make that thing. So Bill, that's a high expectation, but we're ready for it. Give it to us.
So last week, I did not build anything.
Okay, great.
Wow.
Sorry to ruin your expectations.
Taking a week off, huh?
Wow.
Kind of. No, I'm writing my book. I'm writing another book, let's say.
Where is this is finally the one where we learn about this is what I one of these days I just want you to come on here and go, yeah, I'm working on my fiction novella about a hardened criminal who like that's what I want.
Bill
But I'm guessing
no longer making things, no longer the sexiest man alive.
No, I'm working on my
glutes.
No, my Thrall fan fiction erotica novel. That's what I'm working on.
Perfect. What is this book going to be about? Another Foamsmiths type thing, or what's the plan there?
Yeah. So I'm writing a book on helmets, how to make headgear out of foam for your costume and armor.
Nice.
But you had an email from a fan with some questions about model kit painting.
I do.
And I have some tips.
That's awesome. I'm going to read it. We got this from Corey Smith wrote in, and he says this subject was TMS with Bill Duran. Couldn't be a more descriptive way to start your email. It says this: Hi, Scott, Brian, and Bill. I got my dad the Diagostini Millennium Falcon model as a gift. What does that mean? Diagostini.
A specific brand or a specific version?
Diagostini?
No idea.
It sounds fancy, though. It sounds like this is a cool one.
Does sound like a nice one. Anyway,
it's not the Revel.
No.
Revel. I'm looking at it right now. Oh, this is cool.
Does it look like it's made out of something other than plastic and stuff?
No, it looks like it's made out of plastic, but it's let me pull it up here. It's like a 1-to-1 scale of the prop they used in the filming of
like a studio scale.
Falcon. It looks really cool.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Okay, so this is a site that does, or site rather, not site, but a store or website thing that does, what am I trying to say? Licensed product like this. And that looks very, very nice. All right, I'll show that to the chat in a second. Here's what he says in the email. He's good at putting things together, but worried about the paint job ahead of him. He says he watches Punished Props for tips on painting, so I was wondering if you guys had any suggestions on projects to practice painting on. Thanks for all you do, Corey. Well, Bill, that feels like that's just right up your cheese whiz. What do you say here to
sure
Corey?
Is. So one of the best things you can do before you go and start painting that model kit is just get practice elsewhere on model kits that you care much less about. So, for example, go to garage sales, see if anyone's getting rid of old model kits. How many times did people buy a model kit for a kid and they never put it together? And you might luck out and get a pile of model kits for nothing. That's how the Star Wars model makers made like the original X-Wing and Falcon models. They went out to like garage sales and bought old model kits. It's one of the reasons why it's so hard to replicate those, because those model kits, when they were buying them in the 70s, were already 20 or 30 years old. So they were made in the 50s and they're not available anymore.
Right.
Anyway, go to garage sales, look for model kits, but also secondhand stores like your Goodwills, or we have Value Village over here. they have tons of toys, and some of those toys are spaceships, and you can get them for a song, and they're awesome for just practicing the techniques you're going to use on your Millennium Falcon.
Interesting. So this thing doesn't come, it appears, with with everything he's asking for. I would have thought a model kit would have the aging and the
No, it's going to probably be just pale gray plastic. But here's the cool thing. I'm looking at it right now. It's a pay per month. You pay £39.99 per month, and they send you the pieces along with a guide each month on what that piece is for, or how it looks in the movies. I don't know how many it does say 24-month option. So there's at least 24 of these pieces that come to you. It's really interesting.
Jeez, I've never even heard of this. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool because you build it over time. They have time to fulfill all their orders because it's monthly. It's not just all the time. And over a 2-year period, you slowly put together your own studio scale Millennium Falcon, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty rad.
Wow.
All right. Well, how do I best approach the paint job? Because that looks like the hardest part. The rest of it's just assembly and following instructions and being careful. But then you've got to go artsy on this thing.
Oh yeah. So here's the general rundown for painting a model kit. First, a lot of the painting can be done before you remove it from the sprues, the sort of skeleton thing all the pieces are attached to, right? So instead of taking those off first, at least spray down the base coat of color on the parts that need whatever color before you take them off. That way they're not flying everywhere. These are really little pieces, and if you can spray them all, they're still attached to something, you're going to be in a much happier place. Then the process is, first you need to prep the surface. So if you're repainting a Nerf gun, you're going to want to sand that ABS plastic. But for model kits, usually you can just paint them, but it doesn't hurt to wipe them down with some rubbing alcohol. If you have like finger grease or dust on there, that'll get rid of that. And then you want to prime the surface.
Okay.
I suggest going to the model store, like we have a hobby store here, and getting model like fine primer, like a really fine mist of paint. Does a much better job of not filling in all the tiny details on your model.
Is there any kind of chemical concerns people should have? Like, don't use a certain chemical to like scruff up this thing that you might use on metal or wood or something else, but because you're talking about plastic, you don't want to corrode it or anything.
Rubbing alcohol should do it if you're going to clean it.
Yeah.
Let me think. Acetone, I don't know if that would melt it or not. The clear plastic bits, like if there's a canopy, like a window, don't get acetone anywhere near that.
Mm-hmm. That will eat away. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Because they're made out of different plastics. But I would just say, just stick to rubbing alcohol to clean it. You'll be fine.
All right.
And there's also something to be said for like doing a little bit of airbrushing after it's all put together. Like if you want blast damage on there, obviously you don't want to do that piece by piece as it comes in. You want to wait until the whole thing's put together. And is there a like for people who want to have like a little like a getting started airbrush thing, is there a way to get some sort of something better than a spray can, but maybe not something as in depth as a full-on airbrush to be able to do stuff?
Well, the airbrush really is kind of the next step after rattle can, but you can get a really cheap one. Harbor Freight sells them for really cheap. If you already own an air compressor, you can hook it up to that, or you can buy their cheapo air compressor. I always recommend with an airbrush, just get the cheapest one you can and use it a lot and kind of get used to it and understand how airbrushing works. And then buy a dozen more airbrushes, because that's what you do. So after priming, then you can spray the base coat of color. So whatever the predominant color is, you would spray that either with your airbrush or a rattle can. And again, you can get little model size spray paint cans at the hobby store that are fantastic.
That's cool.
Then if you have more layers, you can mask and spray those different colors, and then you can do weathering, which is my favorite part.
Brian makes a good point about, like, it feels like a spray can, like a basic ass spray can, feels like a blunt instrument. It feels like it does no control.
Yeah, right.
It's going to spit out clumps when you don't want it to, like all of that. So it's good to know there are, I guess, more approachable alternatives that'll let you be a little more detailed without going full compressor and airbrush and ink and all that.
Yeah.
They have to worry about.
There's
I
also
still have my airbrush from college, from art college somewhere. But oh yeah, looking at Amazon, I mean, you can get a fairly decent one. Looks like for $26.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not bad. I have
up to an air compressor.
I have the one I got from high school, or I still have the one I got in high school, and I've got the compressor is only this big, it's a little tiny compressor.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh wow.
And I assume that would probably work even today. But yeah, you can get them pretty cheap. These aren't expensive anymore.
Yeah. Or you just blow in the tube. You could be the compressor.
That's right. Don't
I
suck.
don't actually recommend that. You would probably pass out in about a minute, but
yeah. Plus, you don't want to suck. If you accidentally suck, you're gonna ingest some raw business. So don't do that.
Yes.
Well, this is exciting. Does it deter you at all knowing that this is going to come in chunks? Like it's going to come out in phases for this guy? I mean, how would you treat that? Would you, like Brian, just like wait till the whole thing's done to do any finishing on it? Would you rather get it all at once? Like this seems like a strange way to a subscription to a model seems like the oddest idea.
I love being, because that's what seems so intimidating with these things is like, oh my god, I open the box and there are 5,000 pieces to this thing. Getting like 5 pieces at a time, it's like, all right, well, I know that Thursday is going to be my work on the model for an hour a day, and I'm going to get those pieces kind of sanded and primed and painted in the solid colors or whatever that I want. I'll do the battle damage airbrushing at the end, but I love the fact that it feels like there's not that intimidating factor to this whole thing.
Yeah, maybe it's a way to do it. What does this cost? Does the site say what this costs?
£39 per month. So
Jeez.
I imagine getting it shipped to America would be even more because you'd have to have it shipped internationally.
Yeah, the international shipping would be bad. Although the dollar's a little stronger, so maybe the initial price won't be so bad. But
at 24 months, at basically £40 a month, holy cow, this thing is expensive.
Yeah.
It better fly on its own.
Yeah.
Like I better be able to to take this to get to the store.
It's just tad outrageous, but seems cool.
Yeah.
Bill, have you ever done I can't remember if you got a Millennium Falcon hanging around somewhere.
I don't. I actually had to think about that. I'm like, do I?
Yeah.
No, I don't have a Falcon. I have the Lego Slave 1 though, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I know you're a huge fan. I have one right here somewhere. Like it's not within reaching distance, but I know you're a big fan of the snow speeders.
I have several snow speeders.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny. It's the one thing one of the things you and I have the most in common. I was obsessed with that ship.
Yeah,
my whole
it's
childhood.
the best one.
Oh my gosh, I loved that freaking ship. It's the best ship they ever made.
I know.
Fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy.
Oh, I freaking loved them, man. Well, not the snow speeders.
Oh, not the Millennium Falcon. The snow speeder. Okay.
Snow speeders are actually quite slow.
Yeah, they're just kind of
they're
for hovering around, seeing if you can find Han Solo still, if he's out in the snow somewhere or not. But those are so great. Oh my gosh! Every time you talk about those, I get excited about snow speeders, and it's real dumb because, look, this is a part of fandom I didn't expect. Having a favorite ship from a science fiction thing is a weird thing if you think about it. It's a little weird, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
But I guess people who are into aviation probably have a favorite plane. People who are into cars have a favorite car model. So it's not that weird. I've come full circle. It was weird. Now it's not.
I walked by the Lego store the other day, and there's a new snowspeeder kit, and it has Dak Ralter in it.
Wow.
Luke's co-pilot that dies instantly. Spoiler from Empire.
If you have not seen that movie from 1980, sorry, we just spoiled it for you.
Anyway, I need to buy that now.
Is his body, is he slumped over the harpoon gun at the back?
I want to twist his head. You know how they put 2 faces on the Legos? I want his one face to be like, I can take out the Empire all by myself. And on the other side, it's just X's for eyes.
Right.
I love it.
Tongue sticking out, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Luke was always.
Anyway,
he was always losing his co-pilots and his friends, man, all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I have a recommendation for you.
All right, give it.
All right, so we
don't
talked
be Luke's
about
co-pilot.
Yeah.
Definitely don't be. So I don't have a video, but we talked about model painting. So I'm linking you to Rinaldi Studio Press. They do books on model painting. They have a whole series on painting tanks, and they have single model books that are the whole book just shows you how one model is painted. There's a tractor one that I absolutely love.
That mech.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
There's a Gundam one.
I've got a
so
Gundam.
good.
I bought in Japan 3 years ago or 4 years, whatever it was. Went to Japan, bought a mech model kit, and this is like what I need to get off my butt and actually paint it.
Absolutely.
Again, it's like open the box and see 5,000 pieces and totally intimidated by it.
Yeah. So this guy, the single model, like the Gundam that's there, that book will go through every single step of painting that thing in exhaustive detail with astonishing photography.
It's only
$15.
Yeah.
It's so worth it.
It's cheap.
Nothing. Yeah.
Oh, and he's got different examples of different colored combos. This is beautiful. Wow.
It shows you how to like get the edge, like how to do a little bit of battle wear on the edge and stuff of those. Oh, this is so cool.
I want one of those. I want one of those bad. Oh, that's badass.
So buy one of these books or a couple of them, do some studying, buy some toys, and then start practicing.
There you go. All right. Not only a bunch of advice for our caller or our emailer, but some great follow-up for anyone interested in painting shit. So get on it. Get on it. It's Bill Duran, everybody. Punishprops.com. And, of course, Jim Beard on Twitter. We look forward to whatever you've got next week. We'll see you then.
Toodaloo.
I said later and then at the same time. It came out funny.
See you later then.
See you later
then. 3D printing stuff, I can 3D print like nobody's business, but it's the actual finishing stuff after I 3D print it that's always the slowdown.
I know, right? I mean, it looks intimidating just to even look at those pictures. Like, I cannot imagine. But I kind of want that Mecha. Yeah. Sorry, everybody in the chat. Mecha. Because that's what you say about the Japanese stuff, right? Mecha.
You're Orga.
Yeah.
He's Mecha.
Mecha Orga.
Orga. Stupid kid.
Yeah, you dumb kid. All right. Justin coming in. Can you do what he do? And, I got some echo already. Fresh echo.
Yeah, I screwed up. I was playing your thing.
Oh,
these are their echoes.
These are their echoes.
These are their stories.
Oh, I'm terrible with names.
Justin Robert Young joining us on a Tuesday as he always does, often with a bit of a bent toward politics. We'll see where today takes us. We didn't plan anything. We haven't talked about anything ahead of this. And sometimes those are our best segments with Justin. Justin, it's great to have you back. Hello.
Oh, it's a pleasure, sir. It's a good time. A good time as always.
Yeah, is it? I mean, let's make it so. Let's make it the greatest time you've ever had here on the show. It's good to have you. So I do want to make a recommendation because Justin reminds me of it. And I'm a little surprised by it because normally I would think this is just either too easy or going to be lame or not well written. But I decided to sit down and watch a few episodes of this Showtime animated series called Our Cartoon President. And it's based on the Trump family, Trump himself, current Congress members.
Oh, wow. I hadn't picked up on that.
Ted Cruz. It's got Ted Cruz in it. An amazing version of Ted Cruz. Makes me laugh my head off. It's got what's his name? Mitch McConnell in it. Is a big player in it. His entire cabinet, all the faces that you know from Sarah Sanders across the whole schmear are in this thing. And it begins while Kelly is still his chief of staff. And it is genuinely really funny. And it's not just easy target funny. Like, it's almost endearing funny. Like, I almost like this cartoon Trump better than the real one. Well, that's an easy thing to say because I can't stand the real one. But he is being portrayed in such a way that it's almost makes the whole thing a little easier to deal with, which I guess is the point of parody and comedy in the first place. But I'm just saying, I laughed my head off in this. I thought it was really funny. I think the writing's really well done. It is absolutely not just a Trump bash. That's not how they handle it. It's more like wacky scenario based somewhat sort of on a real life thing that happened, and then just ridiculousness ensues. And the guy that plays Trump's voice is the spitting image of his voice.
Great.
It's freaky how much it. In fact, when I first heard it, I thought he was doing it. I was like, "Whoa, wait, is he in on this?" Like, for just a second.
And they're great for my ratings. I'm not going to read any of the scripts. I'm just going to say the words.
Yeah, it's kind of what happened to me when I saw it. And so there's this running joke through the series so far where nobody can say Melania's name right, and it's everybody. And it's handled in such a way that it's very memey and funny because when they do it, like Pence's wife calls her Melandria or some name. It's really funny the way it's delivered. And here's one of my favorite examples I played at the top of the show. But this is Trump saying goodnight to her and then can't get her name right. So here you go.
Good night, LaGuardia. I mean, Melania.
It's really funny, dude. I think that show is great. So I'm just going to throw it out there and say, despite what you may think, despite how sticky everything is right now, it's actually this like genuinely well-written, funny animated show that's on Showtime. and I'm gonna keep going because I like it. And I guess there's 2 seasons. So anyway, that's what I wanted to tell you. Justin, what do you make of all that? Why do you think it works for me when normally I should just be put off by it because, you know, I don't want to.
Oh no, I think it's written for you.
Yeah.
I think it's written for you. Yeah. No,
Well,
it's it's executive produced by Stephen Colbert. It's written for people that are frustrated with the Trump administration, and so it I don't know why it would be a surprise that you would like it. You are the audience. You're the target audience for it.
It's true, but if it wasn't good or wasn't well made, I think I would be completely turned off by it. Because it's too, like I told you in the
I don't
text.
know. I will say I have not seen it. At your request, you texted me about this yesterday. At your request, I watched one of the episodes that they have uploaded on YouTube.
Yeah.
My initial opinion holds that I don't know if it's for me. I don't know. It did seem a little easy, you know. Everybody's. I don't know. It wasn't necessarily for me, but again, comedy is a subjective medium.
Sure. I'm a little surprised by that because I think it struck me as smart comedy, the kind you would like not just simple fish in the barrel type jokes. There's a bunch of that, but that's more of like the accepted milieu of it. It's like, okay, you watching this? Well, just know that we all think Trump's an idiot. Okay, now beyond that, we're going to turn Stephen Miller into this guy crazy, like heavy metal obsessed satanic wacko. We're going to turn Ted Cruz into this ridiculous over the top, like show up in the bathroom while Trump's in the shower for no reason and demand a bunch of stuff character. It's hard to explain, but like there are moments in that thing I thought were really clever, not just easy shots. And that's why I appreciate it. If it was just easy shots, I think I'd just say, not for me. Not that big a deal. You know, this is an age-old thing. They had the Bush one, live action one before this. There's some other live action.
No, that was brilliant though. That was brilliant. That's My Bush was hilarious.
I never
because
saw
they
it.
literally didn't touch politics. It was actually a parody of like The Honeymooners and like Three's Company and sitcom tropes. But there was a reason why they had the same scripts for either Bush or Gore. They were not going to change the scripts because it was basically just going to be heightening like what happens, like who's the wacky neighbor that lives next to the White House, you know, like the ditzy big chested secretary that works for the president, and it's just all these very sitcom-y things. That show was brilliant. That show would probably still be going if it weren't for the fact that it was the South Park guys, and they apparently they both nearly had mental breakdowns doing both South Park and trying to develop a movie at the same time.
Right. Plus they had stage stuff going on with that Book of Mormon thing. So they were probably out of their skulls busy with everything. So I totally get that. But anyway, I just came away liking it. I didn't think I was gonna. So I'll put it out there that if you love Trump, you're probably going to not like it. If you dislike him or want to make some fun of him, I think it's probably going to be okay. If you don't like cartoons, don't watch it at all.
I would say, look, if you are of the following things, you like Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, he's all over this.
Enjoy
thing.
animation.
Yeah.
And you are frustrated by the president of the United States, then congratulations. A lot of really talented people went to work and made a show for you. Yeah. And you should go check it out.
Yeah, possibly a lot of South Koreans because everything gets animated in South Korea now. I have no idea if that's true, but
was it South Korea or China?
South Korea is huge on, like, they do Simpsons and Futurama
That's
forever. Oh yeah, Rick and Morty maybe in South Korea now. I forget, but like if you're gonna get on the cheap 24 episode weekly series kind of work done, apparently it's South Korea you go to. Is what I heard. Last. That may have changed recently.
Well, why aren't you doing it? Why don't you get some cartoons done?
I don't know.
Is there like an upload? Is there like a TaskRabbit for South Korean animation?
I don't think so, but that's an interesting concept. Maybe there is, and I just don't know it. I have ideas. That'd be great. I just don't have time to animate shit. My daughter wants to get into.
Well, I mean, apparently neither does Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
you know, it's not them.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, it's a very expensive to do in the States to animate anything. Despite how, tools have advanced and we're gotten to a place where we can automate a lot of stuff, but even then you gotta go elsewhere. And it's been going on for decades, so it's like they've got an established workflow with South Korea that just works, and so they keep it there now.
Well, there's the whole like wireframe thing, right? Where like, cause that's like Archer, that whole like style of animation where it's a little bit easier to do because you're just modeling the characters and kind of like swinging their arms in a way that isn't like a traditional animation style. Is that like the norm now, or?
I wouldn't say it's the norm. I mean, usually, so it's funny. Like even South Park, when they started, they used like straight up, they were using stop motion cameras and cut out construction paper.
Yeah.
And that's why that look was the look. And today you look at it and go, oh, that still looks like they're doing that, but it's all using like, I forgot the name of the software, but it's all advanced stuff. They went through Flash for a long time, and now it's not Flash anymore. It's something else, Captain Kipper. I can't remember the name of it. But
Yeah.
they've replicated the style, kept it there, made it still look, kind of shitty and bad, but it's much faster, and they have to be.
It takes a lot less time to make it look shitty and bad now.
Yeah. And they have to be because they're 6 days to air. They gotta crank it. But it's not true of everybody. Sometimes you have things like Rick and Morty, which they build over a period of time and then release as a season, or start releasing as a season, and they but it's still a similar thing. It's a lot of work, and they have to put it out there, and it's not, a lot of that stuff is still hand drawn. It's just hand drawn on computers, so you save time on, the old school taking pictures of cells and stuff that doesn't exist anymore. But it's still a pain. So they outsource it, and it works. But
Well, that was the big thing with Rick and Morty, that like it's very hard to order animation piecemeal.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna order a season of animation, then you're going to have 3 years between the next season, because it just takes X amount of time to write it and draw it and animate it and everything. And especially when you're dealing with somebody who is famously a deadline blower like Dan Harmon is. So like that was like kind of the gift of them doing that, like that gigantic like 300 episode order or whatever of Rick and Morty, was like, well, at the very least, we're gonna get a season every year from here on out until the end of that run, or until Dan Harmon gets fired, because that's just like the fact of animation is like you just need people working all the time, or it's going to take a year and a half to spin everything up.
Yeah, totally. That's absolutely true. And but I've looked it up. I could never remember the name. It's such a dumb name that you forget it. But it's Animation Studio 2019 is the current hotness. That's what everybody uses. That and a little After Effects when they're doing that. But you can do it with a pretty small team. And in the case of South Park, they don't sub that out. They do it themselves. But again, it's South Park. It's a bunch of paper-looking dudes moving around a screen. Once in a while, someone will sneak in some 3D thing just for effect or whatever. But if you ever want to have your mind blown, go watch 6 Days to Air. It's a documentary about 1 week with the South Park guys, and Bill Hader's in it. Remember this, Brian?
No. If you've ever wanted to see Bill Hader not say a word and giggle in the corner,
Oh my God, his laughter is hilarious. Like, if you just know him from SNL, you never see this crazy laughing Bill Hader.
Yeah. I didn't know he was writing for them or any, like, that thing was revelatory. And
but I guess they have a very like loose, like they just bring people into the room to just like pitch ideas, because they just need all the ideas that they can, and then they refine it and animate it
and do it in a freaking 6 days.
It is an amazing documentary, though.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth watching if you want to see how those guys do stuff. It's a workflow miracle that thing gets made, and it is as popular as it still is. Anyway, well, that's neither here nor there. What's on your mind? What's going on? We got Democratic.
Debates!
We got debates.
Finally,
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, a desert. All you have to do is talk about all these stupid stories. Oh, I heard that somebody doesn't like somebody. I think we're gonna go to war with Iran. Boring.
Yeah, that's sure boring.
Finally, we're back where I need to be.
Yeah.
Actual people yelling at each other in an overly dramatic way that really doesn't yell at them, but tries to get out their talking points. Debates happen, and it's a double-barreled shot here, Scott. Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday is going to be 10 candidates. Thursday is going to be 10 candidates. The draw was done randomly, although that wound up being a bit of an uneven draw, as now only one of the top 5 candidates is going to be on Wednesday, and Thursday has the glut of them.
Yeah, you got
It's like Beto and Elizabeth Warren against everybody else.
Yeah.
And based on where Beto's polling, he's out of the top 5 at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, he's pretty low in there. He's got a bigger recognizable name, but he's not doing that great. I mean, pretty much that's Elizabeth Warren. Then you got Booker, Castro, De Blasio, Delaney, Gabbard, Inslee, Klobuchar.
Klobuchar.
I don't know.
Klobuchar, yeah.
Where's Hickenlooper? Oh, he's on Thursday.
He's a day 2.
Hickenlooper.
Hickenlooper is so out of his league, and Michael Bennett also out of his league with both Denver and both just going to get obliterated here.
Yeah.
Well, sure. I mean, and they're on the car crash night on Thursday, where everybody's going to be there. I actually think a lot of people were saying, oh, well, Elizabeth Warren and Beto and Booker, like they're buried on the night where no one's going to care. But I mean, have you seen what triggers a national panic in politics these days? Far less than having a bunch of presidential candidates on stage with the entire political media assembled in one city with nothing else to talk and write about for 24 hours. This is not going to be the JV debates the same way that there were JV debates last cycle where the Republicans had so many candidates that they would put one debate on at 5:30 in the afternoon and then do the big boys debate at 8. This is going to get its own spotlight. I think Elizabeth Warren is going to come out with a lot of momentum because she'll be the star. She's the biggest person there. She's going to lean on her policy experience, and I don't think anybody else is going to be able to step in her way. In my mind, on Wednesday, and by the way, I'll be live streaming both of the debates, so go ahead and check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Justin R. Young, and subscribe to my Politics podcast if you want breakdowns of both debates after they happen. I think that the big issue is on Wednesday, Booker, Beto, Klobuchar. If they cannot make some kind of indent into this national conversation that we're having when they have as much real estate as they are going to have, then we really have to have a conversation about exactly why they're running for president, because this is a great opportunity for them to have a little bit of a star turn. I think a lot of people are going to pay attention to this, and the conversation that you want coming out of Wednesday is, man, they did well. It'll be really interesting to see next month if they pair with Biden and Bernie and blah, 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 right?
Right. Yeah, I could totally see that. So, by the way, watching, that's how I'm going to consume these. I'm going to watch a lot of your live stream version of this, because I get really, this is weird, but I get really uncomfortable no matter who the debates are, no matter what side of the aisle they're on, no matter what era we're talking about. I can't watch debates for very long without getting super anxious and getting up and walking around. I can't do it. So I don't know why that is. I think I hate the pomp. I hate the circumstance. I hate the awkwardness. It makes me just feel like I'm on pins and needles for a bunch of like humanity being shown in this way has always bugged me a little bit anyway when it comes to what's important for the country, and then we got to watch a bunch of people just look stupid, in my opinion. So I'm going to watch this through your eyes so I can have that experience.
I feed off it. I swear to God, after 2 nights of debates where 10 people are on stage, I'm going to be 2 inches taller and have a 6-pack. It's going to fill me with life.
Yeah, I and that's what I like. I mean, you do feed on it. It's like you're a demon who's sucking the blood of his enemies, and that's fantastic, because for the rest of us, this will work. By the way, listeners, if any of you listen to my week-long, I don't know what it would end up being, 16 hours worth of content coverage of E3, where we did the exact sort of thing. That's what you're going to get with Justin, except it'll be way funnier, and you're going to pick up on cues and stuff that I don't think anyone else doing live stuff, including, by the way, Trump's going to live tweet this thing he says, which is really, that's interesting, right?
We never thought it was going to be as funny as
he has done exactly what I said he was going to do. When everyone's like, oh, I wonder if anyone's going to primary him, say that enough times and you will be knocked unconscious by Trump's boner. That is something he desperately wants, because he wants to take the Democrats off the front page. He wants to take them out of the top news story. And so what he's done all this week. Have you noticed that there's been a lot of Trump interviews this week?
Oh, yeah, tons of it.
Scheduled a lot of Trump interviews this week.
Yeah.
He's going to do one with Telemundo. where you know he's going to get hard questions and he's going to have controversial answers, and that's going to be a big news story. It's either today or tomorrow that he's doing the Telemundo thing. This is very deliberate. Him live tweeting, very deliberate. If he got primaried, he would schedule his debates head to head with the Democratic debates and dare the networks to go split screen.
You're probably not wrong.
And then while his opponent was answering questions, he'd spin plates and then sing Swanee River while a dummy was actually moving its lips and he was drinking water.
Yeah. I mean, it is pretty much his MO to be doing what he's planning on doing. So it's none of this is a shock, but yeah,
he knows media. He gets media. For whatever you think about Donald Trump, he understands media. It was literally his job to keep his name in the news. He knows how to do it more than politicians do. To be frankly honest, he is the most media-savvy politician that we have had in the mass market era. I don't know if anybody was better at it when there was you got the word out by sending people on horseback to different towns. But in our modern world with television and internet and stuff like that, Donald Trump is the best at controlling the narrative. Now, the bigger challenge is going to be on Thursday when you have all the bold-faced names. You have Bernie, Biden, Mayor Pete, even the upstarts like Andrew Yang. I thought Andrew Yang would have been way better being on Wednesday night because he's an issue candidate and his issue would have stuck out more when he had more airtime, basically, than being on the big boys night. But
isn't he he's a big proponent of that whole minimum allowed wage thing or whatever, where everybody gets money, like $1,000 a month minimum, the whole world gets money. That's his thing.
Universal basic income.
That's the
is
word.
what it's called.
That's the one. Yeah.
But the idea is, it's $1,000 a month that you would get. His pitch is that automation is coming for all of our jobs, and that it would also just be a cleaner way of governing instead of running. So it would be an opt-in. You would basically have to take yourself off certain welfare programs to get the $1,000 a month, according to his proposal. But in his mind, it's just a cleaner way to do it. Like, you just get $1,000 a month to do what you want with, no questions asked. Everybody gets it, no matter how rich you are.
Right. You just get that $1,000. You still pay taxes on that $1,000? I guess we'll hear him say. Maybe he'll say if he has to.
I don't know. I'm sure that there's some Yang Gang out there that'll probably Yang Gang is slowly creeping up the most heavy emailers. Yeah. Like Yang Gang will get their emails out. They're not quite Bernie fans yet, but they're certainly getting there in terms of educating the masses. With,
Wait, are they called? They are referred to colloquially as Yang Gangs. Is that a thing?
Oh no! They are the Yang Gang. Like, there is no questioning that you will know their name. They are the Yang Gang. They like to secure the bag.
Okay,
that is their motto.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Secure the bag.
What bag?
Secure the bag is a colloquial term, probably from the hip hop community, that you are, if you're securing, like, all right, so Scott, when you took the gig for like BlizzCon, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how much you got paid for that, but let's imagine in this scenario that you did get, it was like a well-paying gig. That would be you securing the bag.
Oh, well, I didn't. I should have listened to the Yang because I didn't secure the bag very well.
Well, there you go. You did not secure the bag very well.
I secured hotel and flight is what I secured.
Sure.
For that deal.
Do you want to know what? There we go. It is. No one said the size of the bag. You were just securing the bag.
I thought you were going to say it was like putting on a cup or putting your hands in front of your crotch or something to secure the bag. I really thought that was the bag.
Secure the sack.
No.
Secure the sack.
It is not secure the ball bag.
Okay.
It is indeed just secure the bag.
Got it. All right. No, that makes sense.
But
but why do they say that? What is it about him? Is it the $1,000 a month thing that's the securing the bag? Like, what do they mean when they say that about him?
Yeah, no. That you are, that you are securing the concept of universal basic income. That is the bag.
Okay.
The bag is $12,000 a year coming into your coffers.
I mean, I can't help to those kinds of things fascinate me because they're kind of these weird sci-fi ideas of future economic responses to changes. So I find them interesting in that way. But I cannot, for the life of me, imagine an America that says, "Here's your free $1,000 a month." I just can't see it ever passing anything. Like
but here's the middle road pitch. The middle road pitch is, and it's kind of low key welfare reform, because you are taking yourself off welfare rolls and getting $1,000 a month. So you are effectively taking out the bureaucracy of double checking to make sure that everybody's coming back in and signing up, and you are dismantling that element of the government for the sake of just, hey, are you a citizen? What's your address? Here's a G.
Well, can they do, okay, here's an idea, Yang, if you're listening, for your big debate. Do that, fine, whatever. But then do an extra $500 on top of that to eliminate healthcare stuff. Everybody gets $500 a month healthcare. That means, like any insurance, the people that don't need it are still paying their $500, like car insurance. You're still paying it even though you never get in a wreck. I've never been in a wreck my whole life. So 26 years of marriage, having been on the same insurance program for my car, I've never been in a single wreck, yet I've paid that insurance every month. But lots of people get in wrecks, so the money that everybody's putting in goes to the people who have wrecks. So people who are sick are going to get the money from the $500. Like maybe that solves healthcare too. Like maybe he should talk about that. That'd be a thing. I mean, I'm just farting in real time here. I have no idea how this stuff works.
I don't know about his healthcare plan. You can, I know he does have, he's a fairly detailed policy page on his candidates page. So you can go there and read all about it. And I'll tell you what, he's, he's doing well. He was on Colbert last night, but he's not, he's not Joe Biden. So
no.
I'm sure enough verified people just at replied him. You could probably get a response.
Joe Biden can just keep saying really stupid shit, and maybe other people will continue to rise up through that group. And
who are you? Who do you like right now? Do you have a favorite now?
Of the group,
out of the Dems.
I mean, for me, I have a as someone who for many years voted Republican, I just sort of have a get Trump out of their mandate, so I don't care who so much. I would actually take any of these people. I'm least interested in. I'm going to get emails for this. I'm least interested in Bernie.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I know.
Don't say it. You're going to get emails.
But probably Elizabeth Warren is the one I like the most. She's fiery and has stuff to say and seems kind of fearless, and I think you need that. So I'm not writing in Mitt. Mitt has he has wet noodled his way out of my heart. Sorry. He just has. Freaking F that. But yeah, like I think Elizabeth Warren is almost, she's like I know she's got a lot of liberal ideas, but I also think she's the closest we've got to a centrist candidate. And Biden,
that's interesting.
You could say that about Biden for sure, because he's.
I mean, Biden is running in the moderate lane. Elizabeth Warren is a progressive candidate who is has some like moderate kind of like paint on her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
no reference to her Cherokee heritage there. I just want to make that clear. No emails about that.
Although, by the way, I made fun of her relentlessly for that,
yeah,
as I think I should have.
Yeah.
But credit to her, she really dug herself out of a disastrous start to her campaign, and she really did it being propelled by being the first person to call for impeachment of the 2020 Democrats. Like right after the Mueller report dropped, she called for impeachment, and her numbers kind of brought her back up to the upper echelon. Before that, she was farting around in like a Booker territory, and now she's now she's back up there. So she has really turned things around, and it's curious, to hear her described as a moderate, because I do think that part of the reason why Joe Biden has done so well right now is because there aren't a lot of moderates running.
Yeah, that's true.
He was the only guy who's like come out and said, look, I'm a moderate. Now I still think he's going to continue to say really stupid stuff, or have a real senior moment during one of these debates, and things will derail for him.
Yeah.
But it's curious to see who would slot in to kind of take some of that heat, because so many of the candidates have run fairly far to the left, at least compared to Democratic candidates in the past, in terms of like Medicare for all and Green New Deal and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think they just all need to focus on the one job they have at this moment, which is to get that a-hole out of office. But if they're going to go left, I guess you can't stop them. My problem with Biden is he's just, I don't know. He did nothing. He kind of just didn't do anything for the Obama years, just kind of sat around and high-fived his president. Like, there wasn't a lot going on there. And then prior to that, it's a little spotty, a couple of moments here and there in his history where I'm like, I don't know about that. And then he said some dumb stuff lately. Whatever. They're all going to say dumb stuff. All of them say dumb stuff. That can't be my big thing. My big thing is get Trump out of there, and I'll take just about any of them. So this Yang guy's interesting to me.
Except Hickenlooper.
Except Hickenlooper. No Hickenlooper allowed.
We can't have a president Hickenlooper.
No. That's not even a cool, like, President Warren is a very cool movie name.
Right.
President Ryan, President O'Rourke, President Gabbard, maybe not so much. President de Blasio, probably not good. Castro, that's a cool name. President Castro. It's never going to happen, though, because Americans are weird. But you can't say President Hickenlooper. You can't say, the Turks have taken the nukes, President Hickenlooper. What should we do?
That's just one notch. It's barely one notch above President Camacho.
Well, Hickenlooper also had a big thing about how he has face blindness. Did you see this?
No. Is that his way of saying I don't see color?
Where he doesn't recognize people. He can't remember that he met them. Isn't that what that is?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he has like a disability with face blindness. Like he keeps like he'll meet somebody and then not be able to remember them, which is like, man, I'm sure he's really afflicted by it. I don't want to make fun of anybody's disability. Man,
I have that every nerd test.
If I were to lie about something, that's what I would lie about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not calling him a liar. I'm saying that I would lie to say, man, it's a good thing to lie about because I forget people all the time.
Yeah, it does seem. Yeah.
I would also embellish it and be like, there's a reason. I have a medical reason why I have to call everybody dude and buddy.
Yeah.
Because.
Does he call people dude and buddy a lot?
No, that's what I do.
Oh, I do that a lot too.
Great to see you again, buddy.
Yeah, hey buddy, hey dude.
Man, dude, buddy.
Wait a minute. You say that to me every time we meet up at like Las Vegas or Nerdtacular or
man, great point, my man.
I sense a trend. I would say that of all these candidates, the most smart one I've heard, the one that seems the most head on his shoulders, like less prone to just riling everybody up for no reason, is Buttigieg. But we're not gonna.
And he's in deep poop now too.
Yeah, he's got his own stuff to deal with at home. But my bigger issue is I don't think America's ready to hire a gay dude. I want him to. I would love a gay dude in the office. That would be amazing. Let's do it. Openly, I should say openly gay president. I'm sure we've had a few that we just don't want to talk about in the past. But
yep, James Buchanan winks from gay heaven.
But I think Buttigieg would be awesome because I think he's smart. And despite his issues he's having now with North Bend, or is it South Bend? South Bend.
South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah.
I mean, look, and that's a real serious situation. A cop shot an unarmed. Well, he was holding a knife, but he had dropped the knife. A black guy. There's a lot of shady stuff there, including the body cams and the dash cam not being on. And then the police officer drove the guy to the hospital instead of waiting for an ambulance, which is also kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, this I guess like picks on a wound that has been there for a little bit with Buttigieg, where he is he's got a problem with the African American community in South Bend.
Yeah, at least he seems like he's trying real hard. I don't know. It just seems legit.
Well, look, I mean, exactly what you just said is the reason why I'm kind of bullish on him.
Yeah.
Like I am bullish on Buttigieg because I do believe that to be elected president, you kind of need to be a phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like I can't really name a president who there's been times where two uninspiring people have run, but in general, people get themselves worked up over anybody. And if it's somebody that you can really get yourself worked up over, they very rarely lose.
Yeah.
And we saw that with Obama. The only person that I can see in that field would be, I mean, obviously either one of the women for first woman president or Buttigieg for the first gay president.
Yeah.
Like that is something that people can really, really, really get excited about. And the woman thing, I think that it's going to take people to warm up to that because everybody got real fired up about it 4 years ago and it didn't happen. So there's a little, like when I talk to my mom about who she likes, but she's like, yeah, I just don't know. People aren't there for a woman president. Like she just has hesitation.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that will take a little bit for people to get over.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm talking about. And I feel it, but I wish it wasn't a thing. Like, bring him in. Let's have a gay president. That place is going to be awesome. Like, I just trust it more. I don't know why. I just do. Like,
but his thing is that he's like very boring. He has crafted his image very carefully, and he's like, to be the first gay president, he is going to be the most. I'm talking about how often I go to church. Every picture of me and my husband are going to be very quietly reading in our den with a sleeping dog next to us, and then maybe somebody else just yawning in clip art through the window just to show how boring this isn't. We're not going to foam parties. Like, this is.
Yeah, but nobody wants them to be fringy. They want them to be like.
No, I know, but that's why he's doing that. He is going out of his way.
Yeah.
To make sure that people don't think that he is here on as we wind down Pride Month, he's gonna be showing up anywhere wearing only a cocksock.
But I think there's a reason why Biden is in the lead, because everyone thinks that this is the safest route on the referendum. Like, that's how you get somebody like Trump out, because you don't have an extreme thing that's going to push people away and say, well, I can deal with another 4 years of Trump. I'm not having a gay dude in the office. I'm not having a lady in there. Like, all those divisions.
Although I do think that part of it is also like the way that Donald Trump, and we saw it when he relaunched his campaign, the way that he's going to run against people if they are one of the more progressive candidates is like he gets a big applause line for America will never be a socialist country.
Right.
Like,
right.
And I know that Republicans have called Democrats socialist forever. It's kind of like their favorite thing in the world to do.
Yeah.
But by the issues, Medicare for all and the Green New Deal are very aggressive progressive strategies, and that's what their fans love about them.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders coming out yesterday and saying that he's going to spend $1.6 trillion to cancel all student debt. That's a very, very, very progressive policy. And again, that's what the people that are going to vote for him in the primary, those are the ride or dies. That's what they care about. And you have to make an argument at a certain point that makes sense, because Donald Trump took an otherwise fringe issue for the Republican Party in like building a wall and making immigration the focus. That was always a tertiary issue for a lot of conservatives, and won the presidency on it. So why can't it happen on the left?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think people are weird, so I can never guess what's going to happen, but I do look forward to your coverage. So check that out. When does that begin tomorrow? People can tune in.
That is Justin. Yeah, so I'll be live probably a half hour before the debates. Just go ahead and follow me now, Justin R. Young on Twitch. And if you're speaking of Pride, if you're going to be in the San Francisco, if you're around the San Francisco Bay Area, you're going to watch me cover the debates. Come watch me live on Saturday, 7 p.m. at the Piano Fight Theater. I will be doing my show, Can I Finish?, where I take clips from the debates we just saw. We're going to make fun of them. We're going to make memes out of them. It's going to be a real fun time. You can get your tickets right now, bit.ly/PX3June. Again, bit.ly/PX3June. Go ahead and get your tickets now. And if you are thinking about maybe making it a weekend, this is Pride Weekend in San Francisco, one of the biggest and wildest pride parades on Sunday. So come on in. It's a great weekend to be in the city. And then Sunday, if you want to go check out the parade, go check it out.
Are you going to dress up at all? Are you going to do like some, I don't know, look like a big rooster or some kind of, I don't know what they do at pride parades. But
I don't know. I've gone to the pride parade a couple times. It definitely is pretty hectic. I would encourage everybody to go once, but I will say that I've gone once. So
yeah, my daughter,
it's just a lot of people. And especially if I'm if I'm gonna be out hanging with everybody who comes out to the show, I don't know if I'm gonna want to wake up and get
Right.
But you might.
Yeah, you might. My daughter did photo work for the Salt Lake one, which has just gotten bigger and bigger every year, and it was amazing. Holy crap! This year was the most colorful thing I'd ever seen. Just like her photos were popping, man. I should put some of that stuff up. It was like, whoa, holy crap! These guys know how to party.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh no. It's always it's huge, and it is like it's not like the 90s anymore. It definitely is big and colorful, but there's all sorts of families and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not just cod pieces and wieners. You can get there. You'll be fine. Everybody, go and check it out. All right. That's it. Let's be done. It's been great having you on, man. And we've done everything we need to do, I guess, because you're gonna have all this stuff coming up. It's Justin Robert Young, everybody. Justin R. Young on Twitter.
Yep.
Have a fantastic week.
See you.
Goodbye.
See you, Gerbs.
All right, I didn't hang up on him. Is my video showing up for you or no?
It is. Yep.
It's spinning for me, but if it's showing to you, I don't care.
I see the other one spinning. I see the one that's called.
Oh, Frog
it's
Pants,
funny.
whatever.
I see the one that's called Coverville. I see my video spinning.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
It's something
but
with
you see me
the
fine.
recent updates. Sometimes people's own video shows as not working, but it's working. So I don't know.
I'm just so not happy with Discord because of the clipping that I'm getting.
Are you getting more
and
clipping now? Are you still getting clipping?
Yeah, way more. Like last couple days have just been.
What is that clipping?
I don't know if I've talked over. I feel like I've talked over you and Jury a couple times. It's like because I'll start saying something and then it'll continue the thing that it clipped while I'm talking. It's like, oh crap, I'm talking over him now.
Yeah,
but
so
I don't know if it's just catching up. Or
We
what.
got this cool thing that I tried yesterday with Dunaway for Boop Show, and it totally worked. It was great. I just don't have a solution for guests yet, so we're going to work out some stuff and play around with some new. We're always looking for something good and new. So I'll do what I can.
In the chat room, you are the only one that has a problem.
Oh man,
I love it.
He hung around just long enough to give us a little crap on that level. That's fantastic.
Go stream. Go turn on your stream,
Yeah,
Jury.
go to your thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's always oh yeah. All right. That's going to do it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow with your normal Wednesday tomfoolery, which is very exciting. My daughter gets home today at 1. I'm very excited.
Which even
for her to get
includes tomfoolery.
Yeah, tomfoolery will be here, also known as Tom Merritt, the internet's own, and of course Nicole and Recommendals and all that. So come back for the Wednesday fun. We'll also have Babble Royale tomorrow morning, which means you could win some prizes. So come back for that. A little Dunaway in our lives. That never hurts. Patreon.com/TMS is the website you go to help support the show you love. We assume you love it. I don't want to make any assumptions, but I think you do. If you do, support us there. Patreon.com/TMS. For everything else, frogpants.com/TMS. Brian, play us a song, please.
I will. This one's going out to Xander. It's a little bit late, but I feel like we can still get away with this. He says the St. Louis Blues won their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. The team adopted Gloria as their victory song this season, and we got to play it one last time while raising the cup as the NHL champions. Technically, Laura Branigan's version of Gloria is an English cover of an Italian song of the same name by Umberto Tozzi.
Whoa.
If you can't play the Laura Branigan version, which I won't, I'd be happy to hear any other version to celebrate the biggest win in St. Louis Blues history. Let's go Blues, signed Xander. I know. Greg from Boston already booing. Is he booing or brewing? Oh,
what do they? You guys don't like? You mean not because you don't like her?
They lost the championship.
Oh, I think he was upset that you don't like Laura Branigan or something, or that we were going to play that version.
No.
All right.
All right. So this is. I'm actually going to play the original version because it's kind of interesting to hear the version that inspired the late great Laura Branigan's version. Here is Umberto Tozzi from the Rhino High Five from 2007 with the original version of Laura Branigan's Gloria.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Don't listen to him, Gloria. He's lying.
Yeah, see, that's the right one to use.
Good pull. Well done. That was a quick pull, dude.
Yeah.